All right, everybody, so step number one is gessoing your surface. And I use two different types of paper, and I used to use canvas exclusively for all of my paintings, but now that I am on the run so much and doing acrylic only, I don't necessarily need to use canvas as much anymore. I can't remember the last time I actually painted on a canvas. Now I do everything on this paper. I either use this fluid paper that I'm showing you right now, or I use my Arches watercolor paper. And the great thing about it is they have, both of them have it like strapped in, this like, what do they call it? It's like bound on two edges for the fluid one, and this one is bound all the way around it. And the reason why this is helpful for watercolor artists is because when you apply water to paper, it will start to curl. So this will prevent it from curling, which is great for us as well as acrylic painters. And fluid is less expensive than Arches, just hands down less expensive, but I don't notice a huge quality difference. I really love this paper. I love it. And hot press just means it's very smooth. Cold press paper means it's a little bit bumpy. Cold press is more of that like traditional watercolor where you see it kind of going into the grooves of the paper. But I personally love a hot press finish. I like it very smooth because I like details in my paintings. So it's really up to you as an artist what you choose. Okay, so the real first step of the process is gessoing. And I really mean it. Like the first step before you even work on Canva, before you even find your reference photo or build your painting on like composite, anything computer related, anything where you're prepping your reference photo, gesso before that. And here's the reason why. When you gesso first, number one, you're giving yourself a chance to figure out the size of your painting. So this way, when it does come time to work it on Canva, you know which, like how big you're gonna put your settings as. Gesso basically is just it primes your surface. It's just making sure that no paint will seep through your paper or your canvas. It just primes it so it's ready to be painted on. Number two is gesso needs to dry. And you may think that it's dry to the touch, so you're ready to go, which is sort of like the go-to for a lot of painters, including me. I've learned my lesson. This is why I'm telling you this now. But if you let it dry longer, you're gonna have a better quality painting surface. So I always gesso before I even like really think about what the painting is going to be, because I know I'm going to get there eventually. And then it's just so nice when you're done and you've printed out your reference photos, your painting surface is ready to go. Like, hey, I'm here. How can I help you? Let's get started, huh? And so it just makes the experience a little bit more enjoyable as well. So normally I do just use my bright white acrylic gesso. And that is what I have on my surface at the moment. And this one is so nice. I love it because it's a little bit thicker, so you have control over where it's going to go. This gray gesso, I haven't been able to find a really thick gray gesso similar to the golden ones. Maybe there is one out there, but I don't know, I just haven't. So this is what I've been using, is the Liquitex, and it is a little bit more runny. You get it from you squeeze it out the top here, and I usually squeeze it on the side first. But I wanted to show these two to you because they do different things. Let's talk about why you would need either gesso. I apply my white gesso knowing that I'm going to cover the entire surface later with a layer of paint, whether it is one color or whether it's going to be a lot of different colors, kind of giving the illusion that there's glow around the piece, because glow can be very, like if you have lights in the background, like let's say the lights even in this room. If I were to paint this piece, I would start off by adding some of these like purple, bluish hues here on my background before I even drew in myself or any of the things on top of it. You're using a white gesso knowing that you're gonna cover the entire thing with color first. So gray gesso is a little bit different. You would be using a gray gesso if you're planning on doing your entire painting in a grisaille, or rather a grayscale painting where you're only focusing on highlights, midtones, and shadows and no color. And if you were to do that, then you would be covering the entire background with a gray gesso. Since this one is already gessoed with white, I'm going to show you how the gray gesso looks, and you always want to shake it first. This one, you do not need to shake it. It's a little bit thicker, but I mean, if you wanted to for fun, because you like shaking gesso, then you could. All right, so you can see how quickly this comes out. And I'm just going to take a flat brush at the moment and show you that it really is slightly transparent and that white is shining through a lot. So how like opaque you want to go is completely up to you, but I really do not mind that it's this transparent. Mainly what we want to do is just make sure that before we even do our transfer drawing, the background is covered with some kind of color, whether it be gray, whether it be cobalt blue, whether it be anything. And even if I were to paint the entire background with a cobalt blue after gessoing, I would still be making it transparent anyhow by adding a gloss glazing liquid. So it doesn't bother me that my gray gesso is slightly transparent. The only thing though is that if it is slightly transparent, you're not going to be getting a lot of protection of your paper surface. So what you can do is, like, if you have a paper or a surface that's pre-gessoed, kind of like this one, and you want to leave it this way, you can. But if you do not, if you have not gessoed your paper, if you have not gessoed a canvas, or it's not pre-gessoed, then you are not going to want to leave your gesso this thin, because that means you have more opportunity of your paint pigments seeping through your paper and ruining the entire piece. So make sure you let it dry before you, before you go back and apply a second layer. And how I usually do that is just, I'm not sure if this is gonna, it's not really dry yet, but I would just go over it the other direction. So I'd go horizontally instead of vertically. And this way you would know that you're covering both ways.